Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today's live stream. We're going to be discussing Edify Robotics and our integrator program, how any company can work with Edify Robotics to add mobility or some robotic element to their inspection capabilities. So just a quick understanding of who Edify Robotics really are. In 1989, a company called Inupton was founded, and since then they've been developing robotic systems really for the inspection market, right? And it's been iterative, progressive improvements in the robotic capabilities, track-based systems, camera systems, all for underwater applications and long-distance applications. And the same company in 2019 was acquired by Edify Technologies to become Edify Robotics, but we're still, the same group, large amount of engineers, still in the same warehouse that we've been building for a long time. And so this is kind of how the slide explains here. There's 650 plus combined years of expertise. So between all the engineers in our Nanaimo facility in Canada. And they're all being just focused on in-house robotics, engineering, and manufacturing for the last 35 years. So I just want to explain kind of the purpose of the integrator program, because kind of an issue that we were seeing in the industry was that, there are so many players kind of in the game of robotics, and there's so many different solutions out in the market. And one of the problems for an end customer or an inspection company is that you're having to continuously acquire, the best fit application every single time. A product doesn't really work always when it comes to robotics, right? Every application is different, and you really have to find what the right fit is, or you have to be able to customize your product for the application. So really what we want out of the integrator program is for our customers to be able to utilize the components which we've developed into a modular basis through many years of us having to build custom solutions. So the same platform that we've been developing all of our custom solutions off is now opening up to everyone so that they can start building and using our core components. And really, a big part of that as well is that we want to promote this innovation and collaboration within the market so that we can help robotics really gain more and more traction. And it's also to help accelerate how we're all able to get robotics into the market, because one company alone can't be a single source solution provider for all. So we need to collaborate, we need to work together, and hopefully this is a great platform for companies to start being able to do that. And the final point there as well is, because robotics is a capital intensive thing, you don't, again, want to be continuously buying for every application. So in this circumstance, the benefit is that you can use the same modules, repurpose them for different applications so that it's not a continuous capital purchase. You're just, rearranging for your use cases. So just to go in a bit about, how a modular layout is. And, when we say here modular by design, the reason it's modular by design, again, as I mentioned, is 80% of solutions that we provided over the last 35 years have had to be customized in some way or form, because it's, a tank isn't a tank isn't a tank. There's always something different. Pipelines are always going to be different as well. We need to be able to adapt. And so through that process, we had to build these components and, control softwares that are able to quickly adapt for different applications. So from here, what we ended up building is, our Icon software platform, which can now, either through an API or by using our SDK, you're able to control completely other robotic systems. Doesn't have to be specifically Edify robotic systems, or you can go down at the component level and say, okay, well, you've got our tracks or our camera, and you want to integrate it with your own robotic system that doesn't run on our platform at all. Well, now we've got an API which you can plug in our components with into your own software and get the same usability out of. So we have many different modules that we've developed over time. And so, you can look at the software and controllers obviously as modules in themselves. The tracks have been our core mobility provider for many years now. And so, there are companies trying to do similar things, but, this is 35 years of track development, which are refined, highly robust, and they have that waterproof capability to 60 or 300 meters, depending on the application. And then we've got our camera line, and, through just our normal set of cameras, as well as, we've expanded with sensor networks joining our team into having even more camera capabilities, smaller high definition cameras as well in the 3-inch range. And then we've got our manipulators and actuators, which really become a core element in a lot of custom applications, whether it's rotational modules or linear actuators that are able to, be used for circumferential scanning inside pipes, or whether the linear actuators are used for kind of probe placement on surfaces. These are all available to be used in whatever capacity on different custom solutions. So the other aspect and the other direction that we see a lot of our customer base going in as well is kind of the flip of it. Instead of you building your whole custom solution, we've also got our base platforms, which famously are the PIYM series, but that's just for parallel inline. The Y is our old tri-track systems, which have been used inside pipeline inspections for a long time. And then we've got our magnetic series. And really the benefit here as well is that these are tried and tested base modules, which we often build off. So again, we can open up communications on these so that if you want to be able to add whatever other modules or elements to this, again, doesn't have to be Edify based. You can use these as your base mobility platform, and then add whatever other custom components you want, or your own in-house components to really drive the capabilities of the system, or really make it your own for your own applications there. So mobility has been a big thing that we've been a part of in terms of working with other integrators. And you can kind of see here, even back from, when Toshiba used our track systems to be able to enter inside the Fukushima nuclear reactors, to a couple of other companies like TSC and NDT Global, who have combined our tri-track system with pigging solutions to be able to do unpiggable lines over 1 kilometers. All of these base mobility systems are available to be integrated with different solutions in that way as well. So being able to inspect pipelines, especially in that unpiggable format, and giving capability to pigging companies has become a huge factor over the last couple of years. And the integration capabilities with our systems is really substantial, because the pulling force and the pushing force on these systems is so strong as they're built to be able to go multiple kilometers, that you're able to take incredible payloads very long distances. And so it's given a huge amount of capability to these customers, but we're, again, completely open to collaborating and helping any company gain these kind of capabilities. Similarly in the manipulators and actuators space, so the ROV industry has been something that Inupton was actually a part of way back in the day, kind of in the founding side of things. Now we have a lot of ROV clients who are utilizing our manipulators to be able to do kind of either fossil work or be able to do kind of maintenance underwater or inside tanks, etc. And there's a whole host of different manipulators that come in sets. So, the quick connect systems, and you can kind of gain the ability to be able to cut or clean or scrape or anything like that using these standard sets. It's been something that we've been doing for a long time there. And again, these are highly marinized systems that have been used at great depths for a while now. So it's a great benefit when you want to just add these simple actuators to your systems. And then going into more complex systems as well, kind of like I mentioned before in the top right here, we've got kind of the rotational and linear actuators. This is actually one of our legacy systems, but it still exemplifies how you can use these actuators on any kind of platform. This is showing it with our tri-track system and how you're able to kind of use the rotational and linear actuators to perform, some kind of circumferential inspection. So think of this, coupled with a phased array probe, and you're able to perform these circumferential scans. Similarly, kind of on the left here, we've got our 6-axis arm that was developed for a specific nuclear customer, but again, these are completely available to anyone who wants to be able to add this kind of intricate arm capability to their robotic systems, right? And again, everything that we make is highly robust and meant to be able to survive in at least 60 meters underwater. And then we've got much more simple applications here where we just had a customer who required a cleaning capability inside pipelines. And so this just involved, using a linear actuator, and you're able to now make and a rotational, but you're able to make now, a cleaning brush tool that can go inside pipelines. So it's very easy to adapt these kind of solutions to very different applications, but you find very often that if you're trying to build everything from scratch, it's not really worth it, or the time constraint is too high. So having that base module that just gives you the mobility factor or the actual the actuation factor can drop your lead time significantly to a solution. And then kind of going into the software side of things, like I mentioned before, so 80% of the systems that we've been providing to our client base over the 35 years have been basically fully customized, or custom to some extent. And what we found more and more was that it's not, you can't have a base software package and then try and plug in something every time, and write code on top of it and just hope that it's going to work, because it just doesn't end up working over time. So what we built was a software package which has kind of a tile-based interface. You're really able to, add as required. And, this example just shown below is a great example of a system that was made for, 6-inch lines that had to go in, hard tees. And so we built a completely custom system that is able to fit and work in those environments, but no normal operating system would have worked, or no normal control system would have worked for this. But because we had built our tile interface, we were able to say, okay, well, here are the 3 tracks, and then we've got a cleaning tool on it. So okay, we're able to control that independently. And especially in these complex environments, you need to have that independent control to each component. And so being able to quickly build that interface was really valuable. And so similarly, like, the software is open in that way. So if you have your own custom requirements or how you want to be able to build your own solution, we're able to interface that into the software as well. And kind of, as you can see on the side here, we've had plugins, etc., that you can add as you go. So for example, in the previous slide, when we were looking at this system, initially movement was a bit difficult to be able to try and position the arm exactly. So we were able to build a plugin that basically added a kinematics package. So that meant that you could now, move in an XYZ position and the arm would follow as required, which is highly valuable, obviously, over, if we had a more antiquated software system, you wouldn't be able to function in that way. And I guess similarly here, so if it was just driven off, each individual component here, you would see it would be a lot more difficult to try and actually get it into position every time. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of, what we've been doing and how we've been working with companies. The real takeaway that I wanted, people to have really is that these, all of these components can really be used cross-functionally between all of our different platforms, but as well as for yourself, there are many applications that you can find where you can say, okay, well, if you've got the tracks, whether it's I need to now use it in a smaller diameter pipe, well, it's quite easy for you to build a slightly smaller chassis where the tracks are sitting in a smaller environment, and you're able to drive down potentially a smaller pipeline or something like that. It's and so we want to be that core provider of these components, and we want to be able to assist you as well with those engineering problems. So thank you very much. So just have a question there. So do you have to be a robotics company to be an integrator? So no, actually, like we've worked with a couple of companies that definitely were not robotics or like didn't have a robotics bent necessarily already. The benefit is that we still have our complete engineering capability as Edify Robotics. So if we need to assist, there's different levels where we can participate. So it's not necessarily a handover of here's a component, go and figure out how to do it. It's okay, here's a range of ways that we can work with you, and whether that's, do you need us to help up to kind of the final engineering design, and you need to know how to drop something in place at the end, or is it just, okay, here's how you can wire this up, or here we can give you kind of a power converter that will work with your tool to be able to power it in that remote location. We're able to, I guess, participate in many ways. Yeah, so question is, do we share design files to help us model our integrated solutions? So yes, definitely. Again, a lot of the time, especially for initial phases and conceptual design, etc., you really need to know what's the form factor and how is this going to fit in, etc. And we do a lot of testing with our customers as well to be able to work out the capabilities of each component. So when you need to understand what are the torque capabilities, or what kind of load are we able to pull over a certain distance, or what kind of space is this platform going to be able to fit into in terms of diameter bands, etc. We can give you the shell file so that you can work it out yourself, but we also assist with being able to do those things. So definitely. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it.